Welcome back to another episode of Georgia Sports Nation. We got some more Hawks content on the way for you guys tonight. We're going to be recapping the win versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The Hawks finally have their top 8 rotation guys healthy for the first time since November, and they get the win. DeAndre Hunter, his first game back in almost a month with missing a good 19 games with a non-surgical procedure in his right knee. Obviously, the knee problems with him have given him trouble throughout his entire career. But he comes back, plays 16 minutes off the bench. Good to see him out there. Hits a couple threes. And the Hawks get the win over the Lakers without AD. So without further ado, we're going to get into that. And then just a lot more discussion about the trade deadline. Because at this time next week, the trade deadline will be 20 minutes away. February 8th, 6 p.m. Eastern. I'm pretty sure that is the time that all trades have to be processed. So we're going to be discussing one final time, what will the Hawks be doing? And next week's show, we're probably going to be keeping a live update on the trade deadline. As you know, so many deals go down at that last minute. So definitely be excited for next week's show. But without further ado, let's dive right into this Lakers game. This Lakers game, the stat sheet for the Lakers was just wild. The Lakers shot 14 of 25 from the free throw line, including 5 of 13 at one point in the second half. They did not do themselves any favors, and credit to the Hawks, they took advantage of it. The Lakers at one point missed 4 consecutive free throws from Rui Hachimura and LeBron. Rui gave the fans in the building Chick-fil-A at the end of the game in the fourth quarter, so that's always nice, especially for the fans. They get loud there in the fourth quarter for sure. But in this game, it started out pretty slowly. The Hawks got out to a 5-0 deficit early. And it could have easily been like 10-0, 11-0 early in the game. But the Lakers were not knocking down a lot of open threes. At the beginning, Austin Reeves struggled from deep. D'Angelo Russell struggled to hit his for a 3. He didn't score in this game until midway through the second quarter after a really hot streak before coming into this game. But slowly but surely, the Hawks found their offensive rhythm. They started 3 of 9 from the field with 3 turnovers. And a lot of that, Trey, I thought early in this game, when he gets double teamed, I've always said it before, one of the best qualities of Trey is that when he gets blitzed on a pick and roll, he doesn't pick up his dribble. He doesn't panic. He'll be patient, figure out how the defense wants to rotate, and then be one step ahead of them, either hitting a Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu for the lob or the dunk, or skip passing it all the way to the opposite corner for a 3-ball. But in this game, I thought Trey picked up his dribble a lot earlier than he normally did. He got into a little bit of trouble, and he ended up turning the ball over a few times to begin the game. But after those first 3 minutes, he kind of fell into rhythm, and the Hawks' offense goes as Trae Young goes, and that's why they took off after that. The Hawks scored their first 24 points in the paint or on free throws in this game. 22 of the first 24 were in the paint. And then the other 2 points came on Saddiq Bey free throws, who I want to talk about Saddiq a little bit because, and this is gonna be a side note here, but we all know that Saddiq has been in one of the worst shooting slumps you'll ever see for an above average shooter. And this is the worst shooting slump of his career pretty easily. And now he's turning himself, he's always hustled great. He's always been above average on the boards, especially for a small forward. But the way he is attacking the rim, the way he is generating free throws. Saddiq shot another 7 of 8 from the line against the Lakers on Tuesday. And then in the game before that, he shot 15 free throws. Now, he went 10 of 15 in that game, so not the greatest percentage there. But 15 free throws and 8 free throws. 23 attempts on the charity stripe for Saddiq Bey is definitely a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one there. The Hawks have really done a good job kind of incorporating Saddiq over the last few games in the offense when his shot really isn't falling. He's turned himself into a rim runner, kind of guy that will always do the dirty work, and he's contributing on something that really the Hawks didn't even expect, or I didn't expect from him coming into the season. But so he scored those first 2 points at the line there, and then we've seen time and time again in the first quarter when Bogdan Bogdanovic comes in the game. The Hawks offense, especially with Trey, just gets a boost. He scores on the first 2 possessions he comes in and then assists on the next one. So 3 consecutive possessions, he scores or assisted. And then DeAndre Hunter comes back into the game. hits a three to really capitalize a 7-0 Hawks run. They go up by 7 in the first quarter and end up with a 36-29 lead at the end of the first. The Hawks shot 65% in the quarter, despite starting 3 of 9 from the field with 3 turnovers. That kind of just shows you how much of a rhythm Atlanta was, just in terms of the difference between like the first 4 minutes of the game and then you got the rest of the 8 minutes of the first quarter. And every Hawk scored that played in the corner. Saddiq Bey led the team with 8, and then DeJounte Murray, who also had a great game defensively in this one, he led the team with 5 assists as well as his 8 points. As we move on to the second quarter here, Garrison Matthews came in the second quarter, and it wasn't the best showing from Garrison. I'll put it that way. 3 fouls in 3.5 minutes, and then he goes back to the bench. Now, Garrison ideally is probably not going to play a lot of minutes when the Hawks are healthy, and they're getting back healthier right now. Obviously, Hunter's listed as questionable for next game. I'd assume he'd still be on a minutes limit, but I don't think Garrison will play when DeAndre Hunter is back fully healthy. I assume he'll regain his starting position. Saddiq will go to the bench at the 4, and then you'll just stagger Jalen and Saddiq Jalen, Hunter, and Saddiq at that 3 and 4 positions throughout the whole game. Even you can incorporate some minutes with a Kongu at the 4 and Capella at the 5 if Quinn Snyder really wanted to. But when this team is healthy, I don't see Garrison playing that much. But yeah, he's struggling those minutes for sure. And then Trey had a great pass from the logo through almost a 30-foot lob to half court for a Jalen Johnson dunk. And we've seen so many of these where Jalen is normally going to take 1 or 2 dribbles and slam it home. But Trey's finding Jalen on more and more alley-oops, developing that chemistry a little bit more on the pick and roll that Trey already has with Clint Capella. And we're seeing Jalen be more effective in multiple spots, whether that's on the short roll, whether that's in the corner for 3. He's been much better shooting the 3 ball during the past week and a half since before he came back from the injury. But yeah, Trey and Jalen, these are the 2 guys this team is franchise building around right now, and they're getting to play with each other more and more, and the Hawks are reaping the benefits, especially offensively. Now, defensively, that's another issue, but it's good to see the progress that those 2 are making on the offensive end together. The Hawks end up getting up 46-37 midway through the second quarter. That was their biggest lead, and then kind of to counteract Trey to JJ, Austin Reeves threw a lob to LeBron from half court, and he slammed it down, kind of counteracting that. And then Clint Capella, if this wasn't a charge, Clint Capella draws a charge on Jackson Hayes. If this wasn't a charge, it has a candidate to be probably dunk of the month. It will happen in January. But Jackson Hayes slammed it over Capella. Capella rotated over, draws the charge, and there was definitely some clapping and say, hey, yes sir, Clint, from the bench on Atlanta, because as you know, Trey and Clint Capella and really Garrison Matthews is in that conversation too. Those 3 guys are having a competition for who can draw the most charges, and we've seen Trey especially do a lot of stuff this year that we haven't seen him do defensively before this. He's given that effort. We like the charges. The steal rate is way up, career high in that category. So that's what you like to see from your best player, your franchise player. At halftime, it ended up being 67-56 Hawks. Everybody on Atlanta shot at least 50% from the floor, except for DeAndre Hunter, who shot 2 for 5, and then Garrison Matthews, who he shot 0 of 1, but he only played 3 minutes. Saddiq Bey had 13 and Trey had 13 as well. Murray had 12, Bogey had 10, and then Trey and DeJounte. This was probably one of the more encouraging stats of the night. At halftime, Trey and DeJounte both had 7 assists. It's rare that the Hawks have seen a game where both point guards, really, they played 2 point guards, have had a great assist numbers in the same game. Yeah, that's usually going to bode well for the offense. And 138 points in a regulation game, that kind of shows you how effective it was. And also 9 turnovers for the Hawks in the first half, but they were able to kind of overcome that with shooting 7 of 17 from 3 compared to just 2 of 13 for LA. And I feel like for the Lakers, a lot of those looks were wide open. they really did not capitalize on a lot of good looks, I thought. Latterman says DJ Steam bought in more than usual. Do you think he stays for the rest of the season, or do you think this stays for the rest of the season if DeJounte stays? That's a good question. In my opinion, I think DeJounte honestly just kind of shows up for some of the matchups that he wants to. Like I was singing DeJounte's praises to the moon, especially when he played against the Bucks early in the season when he held Damian Lillard. I think it was to 6 points. Also against the Spurs, he's playing great defense on the perimeter, and against here, D'Angelo Russell, whenever he was matched up against him, played really good defense. I thought DeJounte played well, but I don't know. We don't know if DeJounte really wants to be here because we've seen him. There was the argument with Quinn Snyder. Now Quinn has lobbied for DeJounte to stay here, but does that mean that DeJounte also wants to stay here? I'm not sure because he has expressed that he doesn't like his role that much. So I don't know. I would like to see the consistency from DeJounte, especially on the defensive end, a little bit more. Now, obviously, not just DeJounte, the entire team, but he's probably going to be tasked with guarding the opposing guard as long as they're a small, quick guard on any given night. So he's going to be like that focal point, that leader up top at the point of attack. So hopefully we see it more often than not. But if he has bought in to that role, I'm encouraged because Brad Rowland put out on Twitter a post I think it was a few hours ago actually. The Hawks are 18th. Were ranked 18th in defensive rating in January. That's really good for this team. Now with how this team scores normally, that should be plenty enough to have a great record. But the problem in January was they just couldn't hit a shot. In high 20s in so many different categories, shooting categories, 3-point range, corner threes, mid-rangers, layups, and you name it. The Hawks just could not shoot for the month of January, it seemed like. And I'm pulling up this tweet now, but look at this. The Hawks fell to 23rd in offensive rating to the month of January. 28th in effective field goal percentage, 26th on long twos, 27th at the rim, 29th on corner threes, and 28th in overall three-point percentage at 34.4. That is crazy. Just crazy numbers from a team who's really been good offensively all season. So I think a lot of that three-point percentage has to do with Bogey and Sadiq kind of being a shooting slump at the same time. Now you're seeing Bogey come out of it. He had a good game against the Lakers. With 18 points, going 4 of 9 from beyond the arc. But I think a lot of that has to do with those two slumps specifically. But if the Hawks just maintain even just a slightly below average offense that they've normally had for the rest of the season, this team they probably could have been at least like 4 games over 500 in January. But, the defense stepped up, but the offense unfortunately fell off a cliff, and they kind of couldn't take advantage of it. But side note there, as we move on to the third quarter here for the Lakers game, it's encouraging possession from Jalen Johnson right at the start of the third quarter. He picks LeBron's pocket and takes it all the way for a dunk. 73-56. The Hawks open up the third quarter on a 6-0 run. We've talked about the death quarter for the Hawks a lot of times. That third quarter, they really haven't done a good job. They're 27th, last time I checked, in net rating in the third quarter. But in this game, they won the third quarter 36-32, and they held the Lakers to 29 points and 27 points in the first half in the first two quarters. Now, the Lakers offense scored a bit more in the second half with 32 in the third and 34 in the fourth. But you like to see the consistent offensive numbers for Atlanta that they were used to putting up against a pretty good defensive team, the Lakers. Now, they can't really score that well, especially without AD. Their defense and offense both kind of dropped really, really bad. But you like that offensive performance against a pretty good defensive team. They still got LeBron, still a good defender. Jared Vanderbilt, but they're missing AD, and what you expect to put up more points without, in my opinion, a top 3 defensive player in the league in Anthony Davis. So that was a good sign for the Hawks offense. But they really just wanted this game more. You can tell in the second half. The Lakers won the second half of a back-to-back in this game. They got blown out the night before by the Rockets. Jalen Green had a huge game there, and the Hawks eventually went up 84-67. Now, after this point, the Lakers kind of made a couple pushes. Twice in the third quarter, in two separate times, they made a 7-0 push. But both times, the Hawks kind of bent but didn't break. Bogey made a couple threes to slow down that first 7-0 push from the Lakers. And at that point, the Hawks were 12 of 25 shooting from deep. That's a number you love to see there. And then after another 7-0 run, Trae Young hits a three to kind of squash that one. But Trae, from beyond the arc, hit his first 6 shots in this game. He was amazing in this game, especially from beyond the arc. I'm pretty sure he went 6 of 9. Yeah, 6 of 9 shooting from beyond the arc for Trae Young. Really encouraging after a little bit of a shooting slump, especially from beyond the arc there. After 3 quarters, it was 103-88 Hawks, and Trae, after a decent first half, really put it on in that third quarter, scoring 11 points and having 24 for the game so far heading into the final frame. In the fourth quarter, it was a 10-point game right at the beginning. Jared Vanderbilt and Rui Hachimura definitely made an impact for the Lakers early in the final quarter, but both teams really played sloppily to begin the fourth. There was moving screens, careless passes. The Lakers had 20 fast break points with 8 minutes left in this game. So they were clearly trying to run and getting out in the break, even though it was the second half of a back-to-back. They didn't score well in the half court in this game at all. If the Hawks didn't make a live ball turnover or they scored and got back on defense, the Lakers really had trouble establishing an offensive rhythm. D'Angelo Russell was definitely off his game in this one. I mean, he only finished with 9 points, 3 of 11 from the field. It was really Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura who were the only guys that consistently hurt the Hawks in the offensive end. Reeves shot 10 of 19 for 28 points. LeBron added his 20 points, 8 assists, and 9 rebounds. So it's still a decent game from LeBron, but probably not what you expect, even at his age, when AD is out. And then Vanderbilt had 12 off the bench. Rui Hachimura was 16 on 7 of 11 shooting. Really kind of was the catalyst to try to take this game away from the Hawks. But the Hawks stood steady. The Lakers really kind of gave this game to Atlanta down the stretch. Like I said, 5 of 13 for the line at one point midway through the fourth quarter in the second half. Then the Hawks go on a 5-0 run to take the lead to 15. Then DeJounte Murray catches fire. There was a period, he hit a mid-range shot. You're like, okay, good shot, DeJounte. That's your shot. He comes down the floor. He goes ISO ball again. I'm like, oh no, is this team going to fall into ISO ball? And, credit to DeJounte. He made a couple of tough shots there, but he was in his bag. A personal 6-0 run from DeJounte, taking 3 mid-rangers, and he kind of buries the Lakers with that on a personal 6-0 run, 123-107 at that point. And then the starters ended up putting him away. Darvin Ham emptied his bench with like 3 minutes left. Quinn Snyder followed with about a minute 30 seconds after that. And we got to see finally some Kobe Buffkin minutes. Kobe Buffkin with a lob to Onyeka Okongwu that looked nice, and then he also made a 3. So finally, 6 minutes for Kobe Buffkin on the year so far with the big league squad. That's what you like to see. Yeah, Southside says, I like how we ran the floor off turnovers and basically on the offense most of the time. Yeah, that offensively, this was a really good sign. With how the team had been shooting, with just overall the vibes, kind of last game against the Mavericks, with the argument between DeJounte and Quinn Snyder on the court. The vibes were definitely, and they're still off probably, but this was a good win to try to kind of right the ship. And if the Hawks are anytime going to make a push to kind of be more competitive, I'm not saying they make top 6 seed or anything like that, but if they're going to be more competitive in the play and don't want to try to get in a game on the road, they're going to need to do it now, because this is their longest homestand of the season. They play the Suns on Friday. Then after that, the Warriors, not the Warriors. They do have a back-to-back. I don't remember who it is, but it is the Warriors. It is the Warriors. They come in to State Farm Arena after the Suns. So this homestand really is going to be the key to it. They won against the Raptors, lost against the Mavericks, now win against the Lakers, 2-1. I'm looking for the Hawks to at least go 4-1 on this homestand to try to have any chance of making it into a good kind of a good effort to get a high seed in the play-in, which is not the greatest thing, especially when we had expectations going into the season. But alas, that's where we're here now. But yeah, it's outside. Suns, Warriors, and then the Clippers. In that Clippers game, I'll be in the building for that game. That's going to be a fun game. Clippers are really good. They're very good. 15 games over 500. They're rolling right now. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one. So hopefully the Hawks can beat the Suns and the Warriors and kind of hopefully have a little bit of a cushion there to go to that 4-2 homestand if they lose against the Clippers. But man, that win against the Lakers was really good. It was encouraging to see a win on both sides of the ball. Now, yeah, the Lakers ended up scoring 122 points, but a lot of those points came in garbage time. And for the majority of the game, I felt like the Hawks competed on the defensive end, and that was definitely a breath of fresh air. Excuse me, to see. All right, trade deadline conversations. We have been having this conversation, it seems like, for like the past month and a half, but speculation. That's what fans like to do. That's what we are here to do as well, to talk about the rumors that are reported. Now, a few days ago, actually, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago, Mark Stein reported that Quinn Snyder lobbied for DeJounte Murray to stay here in Atlanta past the deadline. I was initially shocked at this for sure. DeJounte really hasn't expressed his liking for what Quinn wants him to do on offense. And we've seen that with how DeJounte, put that DM to the Hawks fan that posted it on his timeline. We also saw even by DeJounte, just what he likes to do in general on paper. He doesn't like to shoot a lot of threes. He doesn't like to get to the rim a lot. He likes that mid-range game, likes that floater. He's very deliberate and a decision maker. But Quinn has been playing a different way, and we'll see what he thinks about that. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what you thought about that. I know Damon, We Talk Hawks, they did a show. I wasn't able to make it. It would have been interesting to see people's thoughts on there. But yeah, Ladderman, seems like every day DeJounte is less likely to get traded. Yeah, I feel this way too. I was probably in the range of like 85% likely to get traded, say 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm probably more towards like 60% now. I think it is still more likely that he gets traded than not. I still do, judging from something I've heard and what the reporting suggests, even still from Mike Scotto a lot. But yeah, I'd probably say it's 60% for me. And then Southside said, this was a great feeling, consider that our last 3 wins before this were buzzer beaters. Yeah, man. DeJounte, those 2 game winners. And then you had that crazy game against the Raptors, unbelievable finish. Trey turns the ball over, which he got fouled on that play. It said in the last 2-minute report that he did end up getting fouled. But, there's the refs again with the Hawks. We'll save that conversation for another day. But, yeah, it was good to get a relaxing win where the Hawks felt like they were in control for the majority of the game. Part of me thinks they're trying to calm DJ down because they hate the offers they see, but I don't know if they get better offers this summer. Yeah. Here's the thing. I don't have a problem with the Hawks waiting till the offseason if they want to they find better offers. But the problem that I have is DeJounte is very easily the most coveted player on the market right now. If you go into free agency in the offseason or another star gets disgruntled and wants to leave or something else happens, he's no longer – there's potential. 1, he can get injured. That we forget that. But 2, he's probably not going to be the best. So I think that now is your best time to trade him. As we got OG Truth joining the show. What's good? Can't hear you. Your mic is your mic is kind of acting up. It's like making squeaking noises. I can't hear your voice. It's just squeaking noises. Yeah, here, go out and come back in. Go out and come back in. Yeah. His audio is. I don't know what's happening there, but yeah, I think DeJounte is still more likely to get traded than not, but it's definitely a lower percentage. Clint Capella's market is heating up. I mean, his value is low. We know this. Jake Fisher reported that. But I think they're honestly more likely to give Capella than maybe DeJounte for what I thought a couple weeks ago. Is it working out, OG? Nah, it's still not working. Dude, go out of the screen and come back in. I'm not the only one hearing that squeaking noise, right? I think hopefully other people see it. But let me drop this link here for some people to come up. If y'all wanna come up, I'm gonna drop the link right here. Probably gonna be on for another 30-ish minutes or so. Yeah, exactly, Letterman. He sounded like an alien. Yeah. Southside. So me personally, I think trading a player like Murray is well respected by players around the league who took a hometown distance and who basically hasn't even been here for 2 years will be bad for us. It's a bad look. I agree with you. I think it's a bad look, but one that contract is very movable. So I'm sure a lot of teams called about DeJounte before the Hawks said like they want to trade him, like actively shopping him. I'm sure there were a lot of teams who called about DeJounte just because of that contract. But I think this is more, to me, trading DeJounte is not about, DeJounte and Trey doesn't fit. Now, I personally think that they don't fit together, especially defensively. But I think it's honestly more about the future of the team. I think it's about clearing space for Jalen Johnson to be a second option. I think it's more about finally getting a point of attack defender next to Trey, who we know is a poor defender there. But the organization has said they're trading DeJounte. They're not thinking of trading Trey. So that's what I'm going to think about from the reporting. OG, your audio fixed?
Yo.
There we go. Yeah, I can hear you. There we go.
I don't even look, man. I just done kind of tempered my expectations. This organization got me all over the place as a fan. I don't know, honestly, man. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do. You hear one thing one week, you hear another thing the next week. I think, honestly, I say gut it. I'm still saying gut it out. Just gut it out, and if you're gonna build around Trey and Jalen, just start moving pieces now. Yeah. Should nobody? If them the two guys you're gonna build around, because they're not gonna trade Trey. No matter how some of us feel about the situation, we know they're not gonna trade Trey. All right, so Trey and Jalen, hey, just start moving pieces, man. Just start moving pieces, get what you can get. See if you can. Look, I hate to see DeJounte go, but this shit over the last couple of weeks, he going back and forth on Twitter with folks, and his daddy going back and forth on Twitter with folks, and he's saying this and that and all that. Look here, man. If you ain't happy, if the man ain't happy, just move.
Yeah. One thing I do have to credit DeJounte for, he's been other than that DM that it was a DM, but it was leaked by whoever that fan was. But other than that, he's been very professional. He hasn't come out and said, I want out. He hasn't been said that. And I think that should be at least respected, because if he did that, that would drive his value steep down the step. Like,
I mean, I'm not questioning his professionalism.
Oh, I know you're not. I'm just pointing that out.
It's just that I get it. We're only human, and folks can only take so much. But when you're in that line of work, certain shit comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, and I got to be consistent, because and he need to shut his daddy up. I said that last year, and people jumped all over me when Ray was doing his thing on Twitter. But Ray ain't nowhere near do what DeJounte did. DeJounte dad is like damn near starting a Twitter war. Look, man.
Yeah.
Like, bro, shut your daddy up. Daddy, you gotta fall back. But in a perfect world, I said leave it alone. And I've been the one fan, dummy. I'm pointing to myself, dummy, that's been saying for the last 5 years, leave it alone. Now I will say, the more we move pieces, the worse we got.
Yeah, that's.
But at this point, man, gut it out and try to make sure if you don't want Trey to go nowhere, you make sure he's back happy by the end of the 2026 season, because that's when he can hit that opt out button.
Yeah, he
But
can't do that.
That's my take on it.
If I know one thing, I know the fan base wants both to do with D'Lo is noted. Yeah, I didn't like that personally from the 6-man section. I especially with a guy that's in rumors to come to the Hawks. I didn't like that chanting "We don't want you," but hey, that is what happened. As we got Ant and Damon, We Talk Hawks TV in the building. Damon, we'll go to you first. What are your thoughts on the Hawks plan at the deadline so far?
Well, I got a couple of theories. One theory was that report about Landry Field. I mean, excuse me. What's my guy name? Quinn Snyder.
Oh, with DeJounte, yeah.
Lobbying with DeJounte. My theory behind that is, I wonder if the Hawks camp leaked that out just in case they don't get the offers that they want. They can always pivot back to that and say, hey, we've been trying to keep this dude the whole time. Those trade rumor reports was false.
To save face, kind of.
Yeah, but also I can look at it and say, maybe they put that out to let other teams know who's been pursuing DeJounte. We don't have a problem keeping him if y'all not go meet our asking price. So, I mean, I'm looking at it from a bunch of angles, but
it's a chess match.
What I do know is this. Currently constructed, if you bring back everybody on this roster, we will be at the first level of the tax, luxury tax. So what do I know? This is what I do know for a fact. Wrestler does not pay the tax. We some way or another, we will be shedding salary. So when I look at that Lakers offer, they're not asking for Austin Reeves because he's such a good guy. They're asking for him because he's on a 4-year, $60 million deal.
And he checks off two or more boxes.
If you get off the DeJounte money and replace it with Reeves, that move saves the Hawks almost between $12 to $15 million per year. So to me, the Hawks are not looking to improve the team. They're looking to shed salary, but they're going to try to convince us, the fans, hey, we're going with a youth movement. When in reality, they're not. Because if they was, they would have already been playing a Kobe Buffkin. They would have already been playing some Seth Lundy. Now, I'm not saying they will be getting a lot of minutes, but they will be on that bench getting, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes, and something to that effect, to where you could sit back as a fan and say, oh, okay, they trying to see what they got with this guy at the NBA level. So, like I tell fans, man, don't get too excited about moving Murray. Moving Murray is not to help the team compete. It's to help the owner save money.
And we'll go to you.
I have no clue what they're going to do at the trade deadline. It just seems like it's just a wait till February 6th to the 8th approach to me. With DeJounte, I think it would be better for them to just trade him now instead of just waiting for the summer. Because like you said earlier, the risk of them just waiting till the summer to just be usurped and then having some star ask out and having DeJounte's value lowered is that's a really high risk for them. I know people are complaining about getting Austin Reeves in a deal. I feel like people kind of don't understand it's not just because of them getting cheaper, which I'm going to get to the luxury tax thing later, but Austin Reeves is an actual valuable asset that the Hawks can use to trade. I don't see Austin Reeves being in this team's long-term plan at all.
I hope it's not. DeJounte's a better defender than Reeves.
We were picking on him the entire game.
Yeah.
during the Lakers game. There is zero reason why this team needs Austin Reeves. Like, the Hawks probably want to get Austin Reeves just because the media loves him. Everyone hypes him up. He's been to the Olympics. Like, the reputation around Austin Reeves is really high. Like, there are teams that want him. Like, I assume if we get Austin Reeves, we're probably going to trade him on draft night or something for, like, a star player or something. Like,
I would hope so.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, which players that are going to be traded, I feel, if you have to ask me, I feel Capella and AJ are just more likely to be traded than DeJounte, because I think Quinn may be trying to just temper the DeJounte situation simply because the offers aren't that good right now. But honestly, like I said earlier, like, I feel like this whole trade DJ pairing just isn't working. They just rip the Band-Aid off now while they still can.
Yeah.
And in terms of the luxury tax thing, like, yeah, we know a kind of a big part of it is just luxury tax. They're not going to pay it, but you might as well just get off players that just don't work with the system. With now, like with Capella's contract and how we know that Trey and DJ don't really work, so you might as well just move on DeJounte and Capella now while you can, in my opinion.
For Capella, there's been increased noise with him. The more we've gotten to the deadline, it sounded like at first that the Hawks really weren't trying hard to move him. Now it's picking up a little bit. Obviously, we got a week till the deadline now, so that's expected. But for me, moving DeJounte now, if they don't like the offers, that's fine. Okay, like that's good on Landry that he's not going to just ship DeJounte off for a bag of peanuts, right?
Yeah, I respect that. I 100% respect that.
If in the summer, if he keeps DeJounte, Damon, I know you wanted to wait to the offseason. How do you think, or what do you think the impact in DeJounte's value would be if the Hawks waited to the offseason and offloaded him on, like, say, draft night, for example?
In my opinion, I believe DeJounte value doesn't change. At the end of the day, you got a two-way player giving you 21, 5, and 5. At less than 30 over the next 2 years, he making less than $30 million a season.
That's the bargain.
You have control over him, and the contract don't even kick in till next season. You have control over him for 4 years. Like, why would you come off of that? You're not gonna find that nowhere else. So I believe his value doesn't move, but at the end of the day, we understand when it comes to trades, the value really is how bad a team wants or needs a player.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, man, I think moving Murray now is an awful move. Wait till the off season, because at least in the off season, if a star does end up getting disgruntled, say Minnesota tanks in the playoffs, get upset in the first round, do they want to pay all that money? Might not. But at least now, say for a Cat,
They actually can't. Like, it's not possible for them to pay everybody on their roster.
So Cat is around like 50 plus, almost 60 million. You got Murray, who gonna be at 25. So that's less assets that you have to add to make money work. So I mean, you can work it from different angles. But like I said, I don't believe Murray value changes due to his production that you get now and the contract that he's on. You're not gonna find that type of production for less than $30 million.
The only reason that's I'm just not in favor of that is because DeJounte is the best player on the market right now. That's the only reason. Like, if you, I'm totally, like, your point isn't like ridiculous. Like, I just have a different opinion. It's definitely, like, it's a good point. But for me, Paul, like, for example, like Paul George, or let's say, like you brought up Karl Anthony Towns. Like, there's a very good chance that either one of those guys may, like, Paul George can enter free agency, or Karl Anthony Towns, they're gonna look to trade him. That both those players significantly better players than DeJounte, that, in my opinion, lowers his value a little bit because he's going to get whatever is less for those players.
It costs more to get a cat. It costs more to get a PG.
Yeah,
like I said, it all depends on how much a team wants to give up to get said player. Does a team want to give up what's going to take to get a Karl Anthony Towns in a trade? You're going to have to make the money work. You're going to have to give him a contract extension, which is going to take you into the 50s and $60 million per. Then you still got to give up what? Draft compensation. Or you could look at a guy like a Murray as a value player. But it all depends. Like I said, it doesn't come down to the Hawks. It comes down to what team values certain players and what does a team want to give up to get a certain player. How many teams got the draft capital and gonna have the money to go to give Anthony Towns an extension?
The Knicks probably do. That's the first team that comes to mind for me.
And that's their last move. They're done. Because that's all the draft capital they saved up. They're going to be in luxury tax. You're going to be in the luxury tax. That's the only move you can make. So, that's why you got to be able to maneuver this very wisely. Sometimes you got to turn down the Ferrari and get the Honda. Sometimes you got to do that. Unless you put yourself in a position to say, you know what? I'm going to roll the dice and get the Ferrari. You got to be ready to maintain that Ferrari for the next 4 years. That's the thing. So, I mean, me personally, I would keep Murray. The Hawks, but like I said earlier, they got to get out of the tax threshold. So that's the priority right now. The priority,
they don't have to, but we know they'll want to.
They will. They already the man said it in the report. Stein, he said it. The Hawks are trying to shed salary. That was his exact words in the article. We know why they trying to shed salary, and it's not to win games.
Yes,
I'm gonna tell you what can mess that plan up though. If the Hawks go on a little winning streak.
Yep.
You let these dudes win the rest of these games to that deadline. Guess what? Murray not going nowhere.
I'm gonna say this now. Even if they go on a 5-game win streak or something like that, they should still trade Murray and Capella. Like that should mess up the plan.
I think Capella.
They don't have a plan, and that's the problem. The only plan they have is shedding salary. That's the only plan.
We're not gonna know the plan until February 6th to the 8th.
You don't. We know what the plan is. We know what the plan is. The plan is to shed salary. That's the priority.
I know that. But I'm just saying, like, if they wanted to trade DeJounte and they still want to do it, like, we're 20 and 27. Like, I don't think there is as much. How am I trying to say this? Like, there's a very realistic chance we're probably not even gonna get past the play-in. Like, at this point, like, there's really no reason to just have like another false hope season or anything like that just because we go on another win streak. Like,
well, I hope not. I hope they don't. But in my opinion, I think the biggest priority now, like just judging from that report, especially with Quinn, I think the biggest priority now for the Hawks should be getting off Capella. That should be the number one priority this deadline.
Who taking that money off your hands, Mikey?
I mean, you might need to attach like second. I mean, I know. Well, we saw it today. Not today, but it's been rumored even since the offseason. The Rockets are interested in a reunion with Clint Capella. I mean, the Knicks obviously have a need at center. So, I mean, there are teams that can use a backup center. Like, obviously, the Rockets aren't benching Şengün for Clint Capella. But they have no backup center. I mean, Jock Landale has been terrible for them. That hasn't worked out. But they could use Capella really well. So could the Knicks. And Jericho Sims is not good.
But how many people want to use Capella this year and next year at $22 million?
In my opinion, teams like the Knicks or the Rockets do because they're not on the very tippy top, right? They're kind of like this. They're on the way up, but just getting in. So like the Rockets are starting to be buyers, and they're an okay team, right? They have a lot of people haven't noticed they've slid down. They're under 500 now. Everybody was like, Ime Udoka. Like, he's a good coach, but the Rockets still aren't that great of a team. Okay, and
Well,
the
Rockets
Knicks,
the Rockets don't have no star players. That's why.
yeah, the Knicks. Well, yeah, Şengün. Well, yeah, he's not a star.
Star player, not
Yeah,
good player.
He's not a star. He's
Star
a rising
player.
star. He's a rising star.
They don't have no star.
But the Knicks are like right here. I mean, they're what, top 6, top 4 in the East. They're gonna battle. They're gonna try to make the Eastern Conference Finals at least have a second round.
Have you looked at their contracts, Mikey?
The Knicks,
are they in the tax?
but the Knicks, I don't know if the Knicks is in the tax yet. But regardless, they have an owner that will pay the tax.
Not for Clint Capella, man.
I don't know if they move
Not
Mitchell
for Clint.
Robinson.
Only way you're getting off Clint, you're gonna have to attach a pick to Clint Capella.
But I think the Hawks at that point have to bite the bullet and do it because or if they don't want to do that, you at least have to play on Onyeka Okongwu 30 minutes. I know we both agree on this about,
but we know that's not going to happen because they're not. Listen, the reason you don't see Kobe Buffkin playing, the reason you don't see Okongwu starting, the reason why you see Seth Lundy come up here, get like 3 minutes and they send him back is because they know most fans, when they see those young dudes out there, you don't see Murray. You don't see one of the veteran players on the team, and you start seeing more Buffkin, when you start seeing more Lundy, when you start seeing a Conwell starting, fans already know what time it is. And what's going to happen is it's going to affect what? Season tickets. Because now you're going to have fans saying, we're not even trying to compete. We're developing. Why am I giving you my hard-earned money to why I can watch these dudes develop from home on TV for free? See, it's all strategy behind it. It's all strategy because what do we know, Mikey? We know Tony Wrestler wants that arena packed. We know he want them tickets sold. We know this already. And like you tell me, like Matt tell me every time I say this, even though I'm being sarcastic when I say it, until somebody come out and say we are rebuilding, retooling, whatever you want to use. I expect this team to go out here and compete, but they're not going to do that.
No. Yeah,
because they know it's going to affect what? The money, the business side, right? Let's be honest, Mikey. Let's keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. Murray is not stopping Quinn Snyder from playing whoever he want to play. He can play whoever he wants to play.
No, I agree. I agree with you there. I think the biggest reason Kobe Buffkin hasn't played is because of what I said on Space to you, a few days ago about, the vibes in the locker room. Is this team, he'll only get like maximum 10 minutes, and that's not enough to fully develop, especially a guard in today's NBA. He's getting 35 a night, crushing the G League. I mean, you saw Trey after the game against the Lakers. He said, Kobe's dominated down there. He's an NBA player. He's a league player. That's what Trey said.
Yeah, that's what he's supposed to do, dominate down there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think that's the reason Kobe's not playing, just because, the vibes of the locker room, we'd only get 10 minutes here. But moving DeJounte, I feel like he would play Buffkin if they move him, but I don't think DeJounte's the sole reason that he's not playing.
Right. And I agree with it. I agree with that. Only thing I disagree with is I think they just not playing them up here now because they don't want us looking like a development team.
Okay.
In my opinion, because fans are going to be like, hey, what are we doing here? Why am I paying thousands of dollars for these season tickets? You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, hey, you're right, Southside. Fans thought that too, and you can jump in whenever you want. But yeah, fans thought that too.
What do you say? We are going on. He thought.
I was about to say.
That's why he got mad, Mikey.
Yeah.
That's why he got on Landry. That's why he got on. I don't know why people try to front like they don't know what time it is, man. That's why he got on them. Because we discussed this, Mikey. That showed a disconnect from the owner and the front office.
And we've been talking about that for years and years.
It's a disconnect. He thinking one thing. Now, I will say this in defense of Landry in the front office. It's hard for Landry to do the job and get results when the owner is putting him on so many restraints.
Yeah.
It's hard, and that's why I wanted. That's why I prefer an experienced GM. But now that I think about it, it probably don't even matter because the way Tony Wrestler move, it don't matter who in charge. He gonna do it. He gonna do it the way he want it done. If you don't get the results, he gonna start meddling, and that's why we in this position now.
Yeah, go ahead, Ant.
Y'all can talk. Give me a second.
Oh,
I'll be right
okay. I
back.
thought you were. But
My
yeah,
bad.
there is a restraint on Landry. I don't think you can trot this same team out there for the next however many months left in the season and just say, okay, we're going to do all this in the offseason. That's putting a lot of pressure in one offseason to change a lot of things that need to be changed.
But that's why I said, Mikey, what I said in the chat earlier today, I said, maybe it was the health. If we can get our top 8 guys to play 10 to 15 games
in a row,
that will give you a real good sample of what we need to.
We had 13 of those games at the beginning of the year. Remember you know I was on about this. 8-5, top 17. We're 17th or 18th in defensive rating with a top three offense.
So watch
That's
this.
Good
Mikey.
for this team. That's all they need on defense.
When Jalen went down, because I think Jalen went out before Hunter. If I remember correctly.
He did.
What was our record when Jalen went down?
8-5.
8-5. So say they never get hurt. And right now we are, let's just say we are 30 and 22, right? How many games that fit? How many games we played? Well, let's say we're
47 games.
Let's say we're 25 and 20, right? Or excuse me, 27
25, 22.
27 and 20. Say we're 27 and 20, right?
Okay.
Are you damn, what's the word? Slip my head. Are you concerned at the deadline? Are you buying or are you selling at the deadline?
You're buying. I mean, you said DeJounte was a candidate to get traded earlier in the season. If you're the front office, they had put that out there. But if you're 7 games over 500 and you don't buy, that there's a problem.
So let me ask you this. Do you believe 27 and 20 is a realistic record for us to have if Jalen and Dre never get hurt?
Yes.
So,
but you can't rely on that.
I'm going to say something like, I feel like if we had the same injury luck as we did last season, we probably would be like on the top of the play-in, but like it probably would have just covered so many of the issues with this team. Like we only have one power forward on this roster.
That's true.
And stuff like that. Like Capella declining, Onyeka still not starting. Like, so maybe like, and the fact that like, if one person just goes out, this whole team just collapses. So maybe this happening is just a blessing in disguise for the front office to realize that there just has to be major changes done, because every year since the ECF run, this team has just gotten worse and worse every year. So
that's true. I want to say this to Mary Ellen's point real quick. When is Dre not hurt? I mean, yeah, that's true. He's not a durable player, but the Hawks themselves didn't do him any favors when Jalen went down, playing him 34, 33 minutes a night. Like that is not something you should have been doing. But you know,
shout out Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, that was just dumb.
And on that point right there, well, not that point, but what Ant was saying, having one power forward, that's on Landry Fields.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. Well, and also the fact that they thought Sadiq Bey could be a power forward.
And it's on, and well, they probably thought he could be a power forward. Why? Because the owner's being cheap. You got a mid-level sitting right there at 12 million.
Always comes back to the owner. Always comes back.
You got a mid-level sitting right there. You telling me you get hit with the injury bug, right? And you're like, man, we got 50 guards and 1 forward. Hey, Tony, but you got 8 to 12 million available right here. That's still not going to put you in luxury tax. Can we use that or some of it, half of it, to go get a decent backup jag, just a guy who could come in here, fill a role till we can get back up healthy. We didn't even, this how I knew we won't about nothing. Mikey, all those injuries, how many people we signed to a 10-day contract?
Well, we didn't have any 10 days left. So it was impossible. But
where were they at?
G League.
Why was our 10-day contracts in the G League?
When our guys are hurt, I don't know. Well, Seth Lundy was actually, that's not true. Seth Lundy was here when Jalen got hurt, but then he got hurt. Remember, he twisted his ankle in the Bulls game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
yeah, so he was playing Seth Lundy.
Where's our 10-day contracts at?
10-day contracts. I don't know how those work, but yeah,
we could have went and signed.
Well, our roster was full.
We could have signed, bro. They could have sent. They could have cut somebody. They not going to cut one of the guards. Cut somebody. Put somebody on the 10-day that fills a position of need until we get back healthy.
Yeah.
My whole point is this. My point is this. The front office ownership show us. They wasn't trying to win nothing. They wasn't trying to compete. Teams that's trying to compete, when they hit injuries, what do? They'll cut somebody and go get somebody. Whether it's a 10-day, whether it's a veteran free agent for on a vet minimum. Our front office, and when I say front office, I'm mainly talking about Tony Wrestler. Our front office showed us he's not trying to win. He's not trying to compete. And how many years has he told us he would spend money in order for us to win? You know what he's doing, Mikey? He's trying to wait. He's doing it backwards.
Perfect moment. He's trying to wait.
Right. He's doing it backwards. He wants you to get the young dude for cheap.
And then pay the tax.
Turns into the max guy. Right? Which is cool. When you don't have one, we have a max guy. We have a superstar,
and we have a young star, most likely in Jalen.
And you gotta but they don't want to put the pieces around it because he don't want to spend the money. I mean, at the end of the day, man, listen. I know one thing. I know Russell want to get to the playoffs or that play-in because he wants the extra games that stay.
Does not want to tank, and I don't think the Hawks in general want to tank either. I know Wrestler doesn't want to, but I don't think the Hawks in general do either.
Which is weird when you say that. The owner, hey Mikey, you my GM. You better not lose, but here's the limitations you need to operate on. Like, how does that sound? That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Mikey, I want you to build me a team that can get me to the playoffs, but you can't spend over what's the cap this year? 139. You can't spend 150. You can't spend 150 million.
CBA too.
Everything got to be on 150 million. Like, somebody got to tell Tony, we know you're a billionaire, man, but in pro sports, you can't have it both ways in pro sports, man. You can't be cheap and try to win in pro sports. You know why? Because you got owners who will spend the money.
Yeah.
So what's the Suns owner name? He didn't waste no time.
Matt Ishbia.
Now you can say whatever you want about how the team is built, but one thing a fan not gonna say, hey, no, he ain't trying.
He is trying, yeah.
The Brooklyn Nets owner, you can say one thing about him, how they did Kyrie, whatever, but you can't say they didn't try. When the last time you can say the Hawks tried? Never. Think about it, Mikey. Both Eastern Conference final runs we had. What improvements did we make to the roster after that? Pick one of them.
None.
Exactly. If anytime you're gonna go into the tax, that's the time to go into it. Okay. And
yeah,
don't have
that
to
was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. Especially the 2021 run. Like I can kind of understand the 2015, 2016 just because that team really didn't have a star on it. It had an aging Millsap. Like I could understand it. Okay, I could kind of see it. But at that 2021, that was horrible. Just leaving the roster as is and not doing it, like that was
DeLon Wright, and that's it.
And
yeah, DeLon Wright, yeah.
And that's why I always ask people, What make you think anything is going to change from the ownership standpoint? So when they trade Murray, and this is what I try to get across to fans, they're not trading him to get better. He don't care. They're trading him to save money. Look at our cap. We are ruined. Huh?
We're at the tax line right now.
No, we have 9 million. We're 9 million from the luxury.
That's what I mean. Like we're basically at the tax.
Yeah, you 9 million from the tax. Next year, if you just bring back everybody on this current roster,
we're in the tax.
So that's the priority, is to get. They want to get under the tax because he don't want to pay it, and he's gonna hit the fans with, would you pay the tax? This team is a 25 and 45 team. Would you pay it? Woo, woo, woo. Let me tell you one thing I learned, Mikey. I'm gonna shut up. I don't care what a billionaire has to pay. I don't care about a billionaire's pockets. Pay it. You're a billionaire. Your franchise is worth over $3 billion. And you want me as a fan to sit here and say, oh, I'm so worried about Tony Ressler paying. Pay it. And guess what? Get you a competent general manager to navigate the penalties that you pay when you hit the first apron. Because guess what, Mike and your aunt, all your contenders, they at the first apron of the tax. You think they care about, hey, you know what, man? We're gonna lose out on this mid-level exception, bro. Hey, man, if we want to trade, we ain't gonna be able to get on. We ain't gonna be able to get this guy off the bow. They don't care about that because they got championship aspiration from the get-go. From the get-go. And and you know what, Mikey? I wouldn't even be tripping if he ever did it. He's never taken a shot for us to go for a title. Never. Since he's on this team. And I'll be quiet.
Maybe the Hawks could surprise us on the trade deadline and get LeBron James. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
But I think, but this is if you're looking from purely a basketball perspective, I think this is the main reason they're looking to trade DeJounte, though, is because of that defensive end. Because if they're looking to keep Trey, and by all accounts they are, then that is a guy that you need to look at as expendable, because you need to get a guy who will be that great a defender next to Trey, because we know how poor he is on the other side of the ball. So, on that side of the ball. No, he's not poor on offense. So yeah, I think from a purely basketball perspective, it's less about offensively what he's done, because I think DeJounte has been really good offensively actually this year. He's just surpassed my expectations, especially from the three ball. But defensively is where it's been that iffy.
You know what the difference was in that Laker game we played, Mikey?
Yeah.
Trae Young guarded a guy the whole game. He didn't play free safety.
He doesn't play free safety. There's that.
Yes, he does, bro. Yes, he does.
Man.
Y'all can sit there and try to listen. I watch all the games. Y'all see
a trade just went down.
Y'all see me here watching these games. Who got traded?
The Memphis Grizzlies are trading Steven Adams to the Houston Rockets for Victor Oladipo and 3 second-round picks. So Steven Adams out for the year.
So that kills the Capella trade to the Rockets.
Capella to the
no, but Adams is out for the season.
Adams is out for the season.
He's not playing.
Oh yeah, dang.
So wow, I'm kind of confused by that move. Yeah, Steven Adams.
Easy. Go look at the money. What's Steven Adams' money?
I think $12 million a year. So.
How many years left on his deal?
Let me check.
See, look, even Tangi says that's cap.
What's cap?
That about free safety. See, it's not true. He does not play free.
Yeah, he
safety.
does. He sits right there. He'll guard a guy. The guy go in the lane and he passes the guy off, and then he turns his head. That's why he always in the lane. That's why he's getting the steals. He don't get his steals at the perimeter. He get a majority of his steals when he's in the lane, in the paint. Why is my 6-foot point guard in the paint?
I'll have to look at.
Come on, just watch along so I can point it out to you, like I be pointing out to everybody. I'll be pointing it out. I'll be like, watch what he do.
You might be confused with playing 2-1 with roaming, but Because for example, when a guy has the ball in the post on one end and the floor spread out with two guys on the opposite side, you only need one guy to guard those two people, because the pass, you got one guy guarding the pass, you can get one guy guarding the player. But I think you maybe can be confused with that. But
I
he
said
does
right
not
here,
play
Mikey.
free safety.
I said right here, watch him pick up a guy at the perimeter. The dude dribbled in the lane. Trey just passed the dude off. He just passed the dude off.
No,
Tandrew, don't do that. Don't act like I don't want to see him watch the games, Tandrew. But my whole point is this. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you put beside Trey until Trey defends his man the whole game.
He tries to defend his man.
To me, that's a difference maker right there. That's a difference maker on the defensive side. Because it's just like when people tell me about Murray. Boy, Murray was this dude in San Antonio. Who was the other guard beside him? A better defender than he was, exactly. So I don't know why people expect a guy to come in here and cover up a lot of defensive issues. In a minute, you about to see JJ get tired of it, because I see him on the court shaking his head half the time when he covering down for somebody, because somebody messed up an assignment.
A point of attack defender.
Listen, the point of attack defender ain't finna save you, bro.
I mean,
it ain't gonna save you, bro. But hey, listen.
No.
Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna sit right here. I'm gonna just sit right here.
It would probably solve a good bit of issues. I'm not gonna lie. But,
well, I'm gonna sit right here and I'm gonna just watch. And whoever they get, whoever this point, I'm gonna ask y'all who's the point of attack defender whenever they make these trades. Whenever they make these trades, I'm gonna say Mikey and who's the point of attack defender?
Hold
on, because I'm gonna watch, and I'm gonna watch these scores, and I'm gonna look at these numbers, and I expect these numbers to go down drastically, because y'all saying the issue with the defense is 1 point of attack defender. That's what y'all telling me.
I'm not saying 1 point of attack defender.
Yes, y'all are, because you only say Murray. I ain't heard you say nothing about Bogey not defending nobody. Bogey give up all the Olays.
We say stuff about Bogey. This is a bad defensive team. We know this is a bad defensive team. Like we've been a bad defensive team.
We've been bad for 3 years.
I know. Yeah, I agree.
But the fact I think most people are doing that because that the expectations that were placed on Murray weren't rooted in reality. That we know it now, at least.
Yeah.
Say that again, Mikey.
I think the expectations weren't rooted in reality when Murray first came to Atlanta, especially on defense. That's what I think.
Hey, listen, I knew it wasn't gonna change shit anyway, to be honest. Because we get targeted. So I mean, hey, it is what it is, man. I'm gonna sit right here and I'm gonna wait for them to trade Murray. And I'm gonna ask y'all, okay, who's the point? If it's Kobe Buffkin, whoever it is,
whoever it is,
I expect this defense to improve immediately.
Just whoever it is.
I'm gonna ask y'all when they trade Murray. I'm gonna say, well, who's the point of attack defender on the team that we got?
None right now except Trent Forrest.
That's right.
And he's sorry, he getting cooked. He one of the worst defenders out there.
Let's be honest here.
He's awful. Best defender on the team, and he's not even that good. That's the point.
Awful.
He's the best defender on the team, and he's not even that good.
And he on a two-way. That's awful. That's bad. That's terrible. Terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible.
So,
terrible.
It depends. The only trade in which I think the Hawks get better defensively is if they do the trade with Grimes, and that really doesn't look like it's going to materialize at all.
Unless they trade AJ.
No, that ain't happening.
Yeah, that's not happening. Yeah, Knicks, I agree.
I think if the Hawks end up making a trade with the Knicks, it's going to be on February the 8th, because I think the Knicks are going to exhaust every other option not to give up multiple first-round picks for a DeJounte Murray. They're going to try, because our last report I heard they was kicking the tires on Bridges, but the Nets, which is crazy, they just made Bridges unavailable.
That's crazy.
Like I'm like, this dude an all-star or something? Like what?
Bro,
what the world?
Bridges to me, he's a good player, right? I like watching him. Good player, but he's not a number one option championship team. Like if a team was willing to trade 4 protected first round picks for Mikal Bridges or 4 first round picks for Mikal Bridges in general, you don't take that if you're the Nets.
I think they didn't take it to try to save face.
You think so?
Because 2 of those picks are their own picks.
Oh,
it's their 2025 unprotected. Matter of fact, it's 2 of their picks in a pick swap. All the stuff they gave Houston to James Harden, Houston trying to give it back to him for Mikal Bridges. So Houston really not losing nothing. They're just giving back what they got for Harden to get a younger player that they think is better. But like I told you, they missing a star. They don't have a star player. So I guess they're looking at Mikal Bridges as a star player.
Could be. But yeah, Frank, we're just explaining the trade there. Next year, the Rockets are going to have a good backup center. It's just Şengün. Like Capella, I don't see Capella going there now at all. I mean, the Grizzlies won't want him.
It's the contract. Like I said, Adams make how much again?
Well,
$12 million.
It's
not just the contract.
It's just the fact that Steven Adams is a better player.
Yeah,
and he cheaper.
Yeah,
it's common sense. It's I'm gonna get the better player who making $10 million less than this dude over here. Why would I? Don't ever take the money out the equation, guys. Never take the money out. Never, because I guarantee if Clint Capella and Adams made the same amount of money, they would have traded for Clint. Why? Because Clint not injured. They could have used him now. They paying half a year's salary for a guy who not playing, and they hope he gonna get back to his old self next year. It's the money, man. Clint just make too much money right now, man. You gonna have, if you want to get off him, you got to attach a pick. But then, is it smart to hold on to Clint? Because next year he expiring. How much do you value expiring contracts? I mean, it's a whole bunch of moving pieces, man. A whole bunch of things. You feel me?
You don't value him if you don't plan on resigning him. If you don't plan on resigning him, you don't value him at all. What going on with you, D?
Man, where you been at, bro?
Hey, man, I'm on a YouTube journey right now. What's up with you, Mikey?
What's good, Blackberry? It's been a minute.
It has, my guy. I've been meaning to catch you hooping too.
Yeah, I've been going with we went with Greg. We went with Greg and Mike a couple times. It was pretty fun. Yesterday we went.
Yeah, but I mean, we stuck.
So what you just said, D. So what you just said, you don't value this. This why I think you got to figure out a way to get off Clint before this deadline.
Yeah. Because
like you just said, how much do you value expiring contracts? If you don't plan on re-signing them, you need to get off of them now. And you can't be indecisive on whether or not you want to re-sign them or not. You need to know whether or not you plan on sticking with Clint now. Or I mean,
they can't if they plan on sticking with Clint.
That's the problem. That's a problem, Blackbird. They don't know what they want to do because
they keep switching it if they do know.
The only way you getting off Capella at this deadline is you got to give up a first round pick for somebody to take that money because Clint value is 0. You can give up the Sacramento pick and get off the money, but then like I said, since we don't know the plan, I mean, if the plan is to you shedding salary, you're gonna need those picks because you probably gonna need them rookies for some depth once you start dumping all this salary.
Yeah, and if you do want to compete at the end of next season, you're gonna look to trade them in the offseason.
So I mean, like the Hawks put themselves in a terrible contract situation, man, and they do it by extending these guys. What I like to say is for no reason, meaning they're restricted guys. You have the final say. The worst thing that happens for you is you lose a player for nothing, but you're not stuck on a bad deal. It's the same thing for Hunter. You're not getting off that contract. He owed after this year, he owed another $70 million. And people going to look at his injury history and be like, do we want to take that gamble? Not for free. We're not taking that gamble. So, I mean, when you look at the contracts, man, that we got, our front office, whoever it is, Travis, Landry, Wrestler, Nick, whoever did these extensions for no reason at all. Now we're in this predicament. Because guess what? If you don't get Clint that extension, he gone last year. Right? If you don't get Dre Hunter, if you let Dre Hunter go test the market, maybe you're not paying him 20 million, maybe you're paying him 16, 17. But since the Hawks, I don't know what their plan was at the time when they did all those contracts. Whatever the plan was,
Yeah, I wish we would have known. Yeah,
they pivoted off that direction. Whatever it was, they pivoted.
But don't it seem like it was just them just signing people just cause, without any real end game in mind, without any real goal in mind? Because if you really trying to build around Trey, then you trying to give Trey what he desperately is looking for, which is that triple pick and roll action with two guys he can run that with. He ain't got but one guy he can run that with because Clint just ain't doing. I don't know what in the hell happened with Clint on the pick and roll. It ain't there no more. It ain't consistent enough with Clint. He can get it out of. He can get that out of your boy
Jalen.
Jalen? He could get that out of Jalen, but he need another. Well. Not if
my bad. I thought you were talking about the center position. My bad.
No, I'm just talking about two guys, whether it's at center or whether it's at forward, that he can run that triple pick and roll action with, and he can also rely on one of them to be able to shoot the three. Now, see, right now, Clint can't shoot. Clint can't finish under the basket for nothing. So you got to get somebody in there that ain't got them stiff ass wrists and fingers, that can get up there and get them boards, but can also finish under the basket.
We don't have no money, Blackbird.
You got no money, but you got to figure out how to make something twerk. But thing is, y'all, can we just keep it 100? We don't trust the damn wrestlers. Nick Wrestler, he's a punk ass someone, you know what?
Hey, well,
I mean, the owner put him in charge. I mean,
We'll see what it does, but in my opinion, the priority now has to be moving Clint Capella at the deadline, seeing what you have on Onyeka Okongwu in 30 minutes, because he's never been able to play 30 minutes in his career for a long stretch of time. Never seen it.
Let me ask you, Mikey.
Never seen it?
If a team came to you right now, Mikey, and said, "Hey, Mike, we'll take Clint off your hands. Give me that sat pick," would you do it?
Because the draft situation, probably not. But 3 seconds, like that trade with Houston right now, that 3 seconds, like if that was to the Hawks, 3 seconds, I would take that.
You're not getting that because he had 22 million. I'm trying to tell you why Clint is still on this team. It's the money.
You might be able.
No,
that's why nobody. I bet you
the Rockets have a big need there. Now they didn't satisfy it with that. Obviously, they're doing that for next season for Steven Adams because he's out for the year.
Say that again, Mikey.
That Steven Adams, that deal, that doesn't help him this year. That's just for next year.
And Steven Adams,
because Steven Adams is out for the season.
Mikey,
Capella would have helped them now, and they have an area of need that they need now.
Listen to me, Mikey.
They would have paid those second round picks for Capella. Mikey, I think
they rather go and pay the second round pick for a dude who not playing until next year. Do you
exactly, Rashad? Exactly. They want to be a playoff team. Houston wants to be a playoff team.
Mikey, listen to what I'm saying. They rather give 3 seconds for a guy who not playing none this year. None. Instead of giving you whatever the Hawks is asking for Clint Capella, who could have helped them now. Remember, I said that earlier.
Well, I mean,
because of the money.
What would they be willing to give us anyway?
They probably give you a couple second round picks because they know we want to get off of them. But like I said, Clint Capella at $22 million is going to cost you a first round pick for a team to take that money. I'm telling y'all right now.
You think it's going to be a first round pick, D?
Listen.
Capella would only generate a first-round pick if he was paired with, like, for example, DeJounte in a trade. Maybe.
No. I said it's going to cost us a first-round pick, meaning we have to attach a pick to Clint, so they would take on that money.
And they don't want to do that
because of how much money it is.
And they already know. Teams already know. One, we know we got to get on that. We got to get on that luxury tax. They already know that. They know it. So ain't nobody out here doing nobody no favors, dog. They gonna let you. That's why the Hawks. That's why I'm asking you, how bad you want to get off Clint? If Clint money or Clint's performance is affecting the team in such a negative way, how bad do you want to get off that dude? If you don't want to attach a first-round pick to get off that money, then all that other stuff don't matter. Because guess what's not going to happen as long as Clint here? Onyeka not going to start. He not going to get 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I'm telling y'all, man. It's happening.
I think it matters how patient are they willing to be. Because if you're patient, if you're willing to be patient enough, you go ahead and get off of them now and you just think about it. You just think about replacing what you're going to be missing a couple years down the road. Do you think that's possible?
Yeah.
No.
Also, you just have to like Okongwu's still only gonna get. He's 22. Like he's only gonna get better.
Is he though? Is he?
I think he has a good way to go. Yeah.
The thing is this.
I think his ceiling about reached.
BlackBerry. No, I don't.
disagree.
I don't think we have the owner don't have the patience. He's shown us that already.
Yeah.
He don't have the patience, and he really expects this team to be winning games. I don't know where he gets that from. It's Landry and Kyle and Nick feeding him some nonsense, but he don't have patience to say, hey, we'll wait 2 or 3 years. Because guess what? It's like I was telling Mikey, as soon as them season tickets sales drop, he's concerned.
I think he expected
Exactly,
3-point
Rashawn.
shooting to miraculously become very, very good. I think that's because the way the damn team is built, you got to shoot lights out in order to get to put together consecutive wins, 4-5 games.
Well, you know what's funny?
Wins.
You know what's funny? Then we're gonna wrap it up here in a minute or two. I said it early on the show. In the month of January, the Hawks were 18th in defensive rating. That's perfectly fine for this team, the way they know and play offense. But
18th is
some of these stats, and some of these stats, you weren't here, BlackBerry, yet for some of these stats. Brad Rowland posted on Twitter early today. The month of January, the Hawks fell to 23rd in offensive rating, 28th in effective field goal percentage, 26th in mid-range shots, 27th at rim percentage, 29th in corner threes, and 28th in overall three-point percentage.
just ass.
If the Hawks would have just played their maybe even if they were a average offense or just a below average offense, they'd easily be 4 or 5 games over 500 in the month of January.
Now, Mikey,
Easily.
when you run those numbers, let's see, month of January, who's in a slump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I said it earlier on the show. Bogey and Sadiq, that
Bogey and Sadiq.
really took a
They're the ones who, and it's because not just they were slumping, but it's the fact like Bogey's usage is so high, Bay's usage is so high for those guys to be in a slump like that.
Yeah.
That
Well, Bay not so much, but Bogey, yeah.
because what do we do know? We do know mid-range, our main mid-range guy. We got 2 guys that's awesome at mid-range, DeJounte and Hunter. Hunter was out.
He was out. So
he didn't affect it. And Murray been on fire. So, I mean, we know it ain't those 2. So, I mean, it just goes to show
it was
you,
weird.
man,
It was weird. It was a weird month.
it just goes to show you, man. Like, and I really believe this, and I'm gonna say it right here on Mikey's show. I really believe this. I really believe if we, and I said it earlier, if we can get our top 8 guys for 10 to 15 games, I bet you, let's say 15 games. If I could get up for 15 games, 12 to 15 games, I guarantee you in that stretch, they'll be above 500.
Yeah. And that's
They
why
will
I'm
be
trying to
above
take Jared
500.
earlier in the season,
Yeah.
but you know.
They will be
I think
above.
they win 10 out of them 15.
They will be above 500. I'm telling you that right now. After all the smack I done talked, I really sat and just looked at the team, and I was like, what did I say that? Did I say that yesterday, Mikey, in the chat? I was like,
Yeah, you
about
did.
the health. I was like, maybe it was the health. Because
it's
what
just
I saw against the Lakers, that was a whole completely different team right there, man.
Man,
Yeah.
they ran the Lakers up and they ran the
And
Lakers up
effort,
out of there, boy.
energy. I seen Trey chasing Austin Reed. I mean, Austin Reed lit him up, but I don't care about that part.
Yeah.
What I care about, I seen the effort there. And now you can say it's
yeah.
because of Dre Hunter or whatever, but hey, get our top 8 guys, and I think we could make the playoffs with the top 8 guys.
Like, win the play-in and get to the playoffs. I mean,
and that's why I asked you earlier, Mikey, what was our record before we started losing the dudes?
Yeah, 8-5.
And we agree
8-5,
that if we kept all our dudes, 27-20 record right now is a realistic record that we could have had.
I think so.
And what would that
D,
put us?
I could have swore some folks done told you that a couple times before, my guy. You done been told that now, D. You coming now, but now you coming to that realization, huh?
Wait, I was told what? What I was told?
That we was that before we when we had started losing our guys, we was playing well.
I already knew that.
Okay, I thought you was arguing against that a few times. Okay.
No. Listen, when I speak on Quinn Snyder, right, I'm really trolling Matt. That's all I'm really doing. I only speak on Quinn Snyder because Matt was talking so much smack, and I'm just using my time to get back at Matt. You know what I'm saying? I understand at the end of the, because I said it last season.
You know, I'm high on Quinn, but I'm not as high as Matt. I thought this seemed to be better.
The problem was the roster, right?
Man,
now
over the top,
and it's in the defense. But I mean, I think we could make a run to the playoffs if we can stay healthy. The problem is you can't stay healthy.
No, Dre's always getting hurt.
They need to bring Hunter need to come off the bench like he did against the Lakers, and I would probably play him. I probably would shave. He was on minutes restriction. I think they said it was going to be in the 20s.
Yeah, it was 16 last game.
It was 16. That's probably good for him right there. Good 16 minutes right there.
Yeah, for like the first few games. And then I think ideally you want Hunter, once he's fully back ramped up, high 20s.
Yep.
I think that's a good point.
And like I really want to
28, 27 minutes. I think that's good.
Yep. I mean, I think
we need Hunter badly. That back line is just so unorganized.
Mike, I think if you play him 20 minutes, 20, he'll probably hit the occasional 27, depending on what type of game we got. I think that also extends his career. It extends his knees. You feel me? Because we stuck with him anyway. So that's what they need to be doing with Hunter. Find out ways how we can extend this guy's career while he's under contract with the Hawks. Feel me?
Agreed.
But I'm about to
run into here too. But make sure to let everybody know about I assume you're doing a watch party for the game tomorrow, right?
You know I am. Oh, watch party tomorrow, gang. Y'all know what time it is. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. Watch party tomorrow. Post game live show tomorrow. We giving away a ticket to the Clipper game.
I'm gonna be there in the building for that game. So
the Clipper game, which is I think February 5th. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so we got a ticket we giving away tomorrow for the Clipper game and the post game live show. So make sure y'all tap in, man. Appreciate you, Mikey, for having me on your channel. This Georgia Sports Nation and recapping Hawks hoops.
Yeah.
Salute to Georgia Sports Nation, Miss my mind went blank. Ms Maggie T. Salute to Ms Maggie T for allowing me to come on her platform. I appreciate that. And appreciate Mikey for letting me come on recapping Hawks hoop. And salute my guy Black Bear. We wait for him to come back over there. We missing that southern drawl over there, Black Bear.
I'll be back soon, man.
You gotta come get some of this. You gotta come get some of this Kool-Aid action, bro.
What this about some Kool-Aid? I don't even know who the hell Kool-Aid is.
You'll see. You'll see. You gotta get over. You gotta make your way over there. You'll see.
Okay.
But with that being said, we're gonna end it right there. Appreciate y'all tuning in for Georgia Sports Nation. Don't forget, next week it'll be during the last few minutes of the deadline, so it'll be an exciting show next week, Thursday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys next week. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
All of